Hello friends and my lovely viewers. Welcome back to the channel of prettiness. Today we will finish updating the tier list of our guardians. Let's get started.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. I'm tired of shit.
We will rank our guardians in PvP, PvE, Expedition and Guild Boss, and Eyes of Abyss. No guardians fall below the B tier, and thus our tier list will consist of S+ tiers, S tiers, A tiers, and B tiers. Our S+ tiers are the absolute meta top dogs of Bloodline, and we should without a doubt aim for them. Our solid S tier guardians are great options, but not the very best of the best. Some of our S tiers may be worth it, while others may not be worth the effort it takes acquiring them. Our A tiers are kinda meh, and we may not get the results we want in battle. So I suggest we do not aim for guardians of this rank, to be honest. And our B tier guardians are the very lowest ones, and we should not aim for these ones at all. Let us continue by ranking our Dawnfeather guardian first. Dawnfeather is a great choice if you want to debuff enemies while dealing damage to them. She reduces our enemy's ability to dodge, and she increases the damage our enemy takes. On top of that, she can prevent our enemies from gaining shields, and she can remove 55% of our enemies' shield. So Dawnfeather is a very good counter against shield-reliant foes, even though she isn't entirely based on it, if you know what I mean. We have a solid damage output, and the enemies with the lowest constitution will be the most vulnerable opponents when facing Dawnfeather. Anyways, our guardian looks very impressive, but she doesn't seem to be quite there yet. I believe we may place our Dawnfeather into the solid S tier for all our sections. So she isn't the worst option out there, nor is she the best one. Dawnfeather does have the potential to become our favorite in certain team comps against specific enemies though. We need 1 marksman role champion and 1 assassin role champion, plus 5 convergence gels and some gold to acquire this guardian. If we want to use Dawnfeather in our team, we may want to try placing her in either the front row or the mid row of the battlefield. She has proven to function well in those areas, but feel free to experiment on your own as well. Next up, let us discuss the tier of our Queen of Frost guardian. She is amazing at crowd controlling the opponent, and she can also ignore the opponent's immunity to control effects. We may enjoy using this guardian to really annoy the opponent and cause hindrances or obstacles. She's not very focused on dealing damage, but she gives some damage output nevertheless. If we want a guardian to prevent the opponent from attacking, moving, recovering constitution, etc., she is a very good pick, and I personally believe she is one of our top guardians at the moment. According to our intel and observation so far, I currently think our Queen of Frost belongs to the S+ tier in both PvP and PvE. But for Expedition and Guild Boss, I don't think she climbs any higher but to the A tier, so we may not want to use her for those sections too much. And we definitely do not want to launch her into the Eyes of Abyss, since she currently lands on the B tier in that specific section. Her skills simply have not proven to be very compatible for Eyes of Abyss, so it is better to focus elsewhere. If we want Queen of Frost, we must sacrifice 1 assassin role champion and 1 warrior role champion, plus 5 convergence gels and some gold. As for the placement, we may want to keep her in either the back row or the mid row of the battlefield. She serves more as a supporter type, and she isn't super durable, unless of course you place lots of defense-based traits onto her. So according to her skills and clan traits, it may be better to keep this guardian in a safe spot. Moving on to the next guardian in line, we have our Hydron. He is mainly a damage dealer, but he also debuffs enemies and he launches control effects. One thing we may like about him is the ability to steal strength from opponents. It feels very unique in a way, and it gives our guardian a lot of potential to becoming a great asset in battle. We do need to hardcore invest in his strength for him to perform at his very best. Anyways, he's not perfect in PvP and PvE. I would say this guardian is more valuable in Expedition, Guild Boss, and Eyes of Abyss, so we should keep that in mind when picking a guardian for our team. When it comes to Hydron's tier, we may place him into the normal S tier for PvP and PvE, and the S+ tier for the remaining sections. He is one of our very few guardians who kick ass in Expedition, Guild Boss, and Ice of Abyss. So I don't feel like he's a bad choice, to be honest. But he's not a guardian we may want to prioritize, as we have better options available. We need to use one marksman role champion and one assassin role champion as sacrificial pieces, as well as 5 convergence gels and some gold to acquire this guardian. Our Hydron performs exceptionally well in either the mid row or the back row of our battlefield. He is also not a tank material, and his high damage output could make him a target in the eyes of the enemy. It's best to keep him in a safe spot, just like the previous guardian we discussed. Let us check out our beloved Eldrasil Guardian. Eldrasil is a splendid option if you want a guardian who deals damage, debuffs enemies, and buffs himself. On top of that, if we have allies who launch ultimate skills, guardian skills, and control effects frequently, then our Eldrasil will benefit greatly in terms of getting very useful buffs. So we need multiple guardians in our team, or possibly normal champs to launch skills and control effects for our Eldrasil to reach his full potential. Our Queen of Frost may be a great contributor in terms of landing control effects on the enemy for our Eldrasil Guardian, so we may keep that in mind when planning our team comp. Overall, Eldrasil is incredibly impressive with his very versatile nature, and by properly understanding how he works, we can seriously bring him all the way up to our meta league. We consider him to be in the S+ tier in all 4 sections at the moment. He seems to be very reliable, and it may take some time before he gets knocked down from our meta league. We need to sacrifice 1 marksman role champion and 1 mage role champion plus 5 convergence gels and some gold to acquire our Eldrasil. If we are lucky enough to acquire this guardian, we may place him into either the mid row or back row of our battlefield. Like mentioned in our passive skill, the more distance to the enemy we have, the more damage our Eldrasil will deal. Next in line is our Voidborn. I will just be very direct and say that he is our worst guardian. Voidborn is a off tank and a sub DPS, which is not a great combo, to be honest. Every guardian can at least reach a decent point if we invest tons of resources and use the right traits and team comp, etc. But our Voidborn will take an unnecessary amount of resources to build, so he's not a great choice for us anymore. Voidborn is the stepping stone of our Guardian section, and the only use we have of him right now is to sacrifice him to acquire the Void Harbinger Judicator instead. So he got some uses, but is it really worth acquiring him to get Void Harbinger? Anyways, the current tier of our Voidborn is a solid A tier for all of our sections. We need to sacrifice 2 champions from any role, and 5 convergence gels plus some gold to acquire this guardian. Do keep in mind, by the way, that our sacrificial pieces need a certain amount of stars to be eligible for being used, and this goes for all of our guardians and judicators. If we do decide to acquire Voidborn, we may consider him for either the front row or the mid row depending on how tanky we make him. Our next guardian is our newest judicator, aka Void Harbinger. He deals damage, debuffs enemies, and buffs allies a little. We may notice that Void Harbinger is very versatile and unique. His toughness and toughness cap is a major part of his skills, and he has the ability to restore both his toughness and energy. Since Void Harbinger is incredibly new in Bloodline, we may have a lot of different experiences. But our common knowledge so far is that he is better than Flammabane and Hydron. We may prefer using him for PvP and PvE, since he seems to thrive the best in those sections. Our Void Harbinger kinda reminds us of our Eldrasil Guardian, and he may actually be the new hype in Bloodline at the moment. Even though he sounds like the perfect creation, we may notice he struggles a little bit against crowd controlling effects. And like mentioned, he isn't perfect in all of our sections. Currently, I'd say we may place him into the S+ tier for PvP and PvE, and the normal S tier for Expedition and Guild Boss and Ice of Abyss. Do keep in mind he is very new, so changes and new ideas could pop up and alter things. But he seems to impress in most cases, and thus we are giving him a taste of the meta ranking. We have 3 ways to acquire him, but I will just mention the number 1 most common way. We can use our Voidborn plus 1 assassin role champion and 5 advanced convergence gels to converge him. It takes a bit more resources getting this Judicator compared to our Guardians, so he may not be worth it unless he gets buffed up in some sort of update. As for the battlefield placements, I believe we may want to try him out in the mid row or the front row. He could turn out to be durable, but if we build him to deal a lot of damage, we may want to reconsider and not opt for the very front in battle. Our very last Guardian is called Abyssals. She mainly focuses on dealing damage and debuffing the enemy. I feel like our Abyssals used to be very popular the moment she was released in the game, but now she has kinda dropped down. We may not say she's as bad as our Voidborn, but she is not a priority with our current meta. Abyssals is currently landing on the solid S tier for PvP and PvE, and we may place her into the A tier for our remaining sections. So I honestly do not recommend we pour our resources into this Guardian, since it would be kind of a waste. She's an old Guardian who quickly faded into the background, and I don't think she will resurface or become useful again unless Bloodline makes us another Judicator that can be acquired by sacrificing our Abyssal Guardian. It is a possibility, but it is not written in stone yet. To acquire Abyssals, we will need to sacrifice one Assassin role champion and one Mage role champion plus 5 Convergence Gels and some gold. We may want to keep this Guardian in either the back row or the mid row of the battlefield, since she statistically thrives the best in those placements. Those were all of our Guardians and Judicators up until now. Remember, the tier list is just my very own personal opinion from my own observations, so we may not agree on everything, and that is completely alright. What do you think about the tiers, by the way? Would you rank the Guardians and Judicator any different, or would you keep the tier list the same? Feel free to share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. This is all for today, so if you want to partake in our giveaways, subscribe to the channel. You may also leave a like or share the video with your friends if you want to. We highly appreciate your support and contribution. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and we will see you in the next one. Have an amazing day. Take care, stay foxy, adios, bye.